Hey, I'm Paul Priest, bassist for Jericho Woods, and you're watching from BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liedman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today from the 2016 Summer NAMM Show, Nashville, Tennessee, with our good friend Paul Priest. What's happening, Paul?
Hey, John. So good to be at NAMM as always. It's like a big toy store, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is.
Too much, man. I love it.
It's great to see you. I want to hear all about the band Jericho Woods. I've checked out a whole bunch of your YouTube videos. I haven't had the privilege of seeing you live yet, but I hope to do that in the not-too-distant future.
I hope so. We've really been busy for the last couple of years. Last year, our debut album, Same Old Dirt, came out. Debuted at number 25 on iTunes country charts. Number 8 on Billboard's South Central Heat Seeker. We've been touring in support of that. We've been with producer Skid Mills over at Omnisound Studio for the last month or so, and we've got a new record finished. We don't know what label's going to put it out yet, but we think it's going to be a good one. So I can't wait for y'all to hear it, man. It's I'm really proud of it. I think it's the best we've ever written and played.
Well, that's great, and something about the way you said finished looked like a whole bunch of relief all over your body there.
I heard final mixes for the first time a few days ago, and I did pay attention to the vocals and the guitar and the drums, I promise. But the bass sound was what I've been after for my whole life, so I'm really happy. So,
well, let's talk bass, because this is for bass players only. I want to go back to the early days, though. You're from Kentucky. Tell me about growing up in Kentucky and somehow becoming a bass player. What's the story there? Fill in the gaps for us.
Kentucky is just a musical hotbed. You've got everybody, from Bill Monroe to the Everly Brothers to Merle Travis to these really great rock bands, and then the Kentucky Headhunters. They were doing their thing in the early 90s. They're still doing it better than ever. My Morning Jacket, Slint. All these wonderful bands are from Kentucky, from bluegrass to modern rock to country and everything in between. So,
excuse me, I interviewed the bass player from Five Finger Death Punch, Chris Cale. Isn't he from Kentucky?
I don't know. Is he a good player? If he is, we'll take him.
You'll claim him. All right.
But it's a big musical potpourri, if you will, in Kentucky. So many blurred genres. People play in all kinds of different scenes and know each other. The jam band guys know the punk guys, and the bluegrass guys know the rock guys, and that was really important for me choosing to become a musician. That made it easier to make that decision, and you can steal from everybody. All good licks are meant to be stolen.
What made you gravitate to the bass?
My mom named me after Paul McCartney. I'm pretty sure that I came out with a Hofner in my hand. I've just always been. That's just what appealed to me. I did drumline in school to make myself a better bass player. I thought it would work, and I've just always been attracted to the bass and bass players. I remember seeing Dad's Birds records. I would always look for Chris Hillman.
Yep.
Or if I would get out a Dead record, I would look for Phil and all the bluegrass guys, all the bass guys. I guess because it was just big and powerful and percussive and loud. And I'm not a shy person. I'm a kind of a big boomy guy myself, so I'm just supposed to be a bass player, I guess.
Okay, well, coming up, you play upright and you play electric. So how did that come together? Which came first, and how did you get to the other one, and what's the story there?
I guess electric probably came first when I was probably 8 or 9. I had a couple of really, really good friends around home that were fantastic bass players and like big brothers to me. And upright basses, they just weren't around so much. When I got older...
Not the bluegrass thing?
People had them, but you had to have a car to go to festivals. And my grandparents were great about taking me to festivals. Mom and Dad were too. But upright basses are hard to store, hard to haul around. And I knew a lot of guitar and mandolin players, a lot of fiddle players. So the upright bass was kind of exotic to me. And once I got older and could drive and could get my hands on them, it just kind of came natural.
Well, how did you study the traditional classical with the bow, or did you just come about it from another angle?
I did some arco in college.
French or German bow?
I was French all the way.
Oh, okay.
It was what my professor said. He didn't like me. He said I was wasting my time with hillbilly music. He didn't like my approach to pizzicato because it was brutish. Okay. I didn't really listen to him.
Good for you.
I just wanted to hold the pocket and have some fun, and it paid off. So I love the arco guys, love the classical guys. I don't know that I'm the caliber of musician to play that type of music, but I do appreciate it.
All right. Tell me about your equipment. I know you're big into NS design.
Man, NS Design. I've been with Ned and Corey for almost 10 years. I was playing upright bass in bluegrass bands professionally. I needed something I could fly with. So they hooked me up with one of the earlier Wave upright basses.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic instrument. And last year at NAMM, I ran into Corey. Great reunion. We had a great visit. And I had a gig in Birmingham, Alabama that night. And I said, I'm going to take one of these CR5s with me and try it out and see what I think about it.
What kind? Was it a bluegrass type gig, or was it?
No. It was with Jericho Woods.
Oh, okay.
Loud, rock and country stuff. So I took this bass and I came back to NAMM the next day, not to return it, but to ask Corey for another one because I knew I wasn't going to give the one he loaned me back. I couldn't give it back. Wow. It was the most versatile bass I've ever played. I've been in and out of boutique basses since the 90s. I've played them all. And for what I do with Jericho Woods, having the Piazza pickup on the bridge and then the EMGs, what Ned has done with that bass, he's made a bass that it's so versatile. I don't even know how to describe it. I can get anything I want out of it. But
that's what everybody says about this.
It's the most amazing bass, and I'm not going to play anything else ever. They are stuck with me, Corey and Ned. You all are stuck with me forever, and I need a fretless, please. They're fantastic, and for what I want, I really love the sound of modern Nashville bass players. I love the modern country bass player. I like big, clean preamps with a lot of punch and some compression. I like pop country bass players. And there's a certain brand of bass that you see in this town a whole lot, and I'll put my NSs up against those anytime for that big, clean, modern country punch. You can't beat the NS. Everybody in this town should be playing those right now.
Well, all right. Well,
I mean it, man.
How about the future? You just finished this record. Did you mention, are you going to be touring in support of this record?
Absolutely. We're on the never-ending tour, we call it. Very, very seldom have any time off. Can't wait to get out and see everybody. I don't know what label's going to put it out, right, but I think there'll be a big push to radio, and I just hope folks enjoy it. One thing I can say about Jericho Woods is we mean every word we sing, and we mean every note we play. And if it takes off, that's great. And if we can stay at the level we're at, working and making a living, and some people dig it for what it is, I feel like we've made it, I'm happy.
Just you as a person, you have a lot of conviction in everything you say, and we've been sitting here for just a couple of minutes here, and I picked that up very quickly.
I live a fun and interesting life, John. I'm the luckiest guy on earth. I really am.
Very admirable quality. What I was leading up to, though, I know the record is finished and the tour is coming up, the never-ending tour, but what about more long-term? What about the future? You're still young, you've got so much energy. What else would you like to do in your career that someday one of these days I'm gonna
hang out and have coffee with Dave Schools from Widespread Panic.
Okay.
Someday I'm gonna guilt Mike Mills from REM into producing a record for me at Ardent. It's gonna be a big power pop kind of big star record. So Mike,
you know how to get to Mike? Are you a baseball fan?
I am.
He's a baseball freak.
Baseball guy, and he's a big star fan. So yeah, and he loves Kentucky. Okay. He comes to the Derby every year. Our singer actually accosted him a couple years ago and said, "Did you know you're going to produce a record for us someday at Ardent?" Mike, just the nice guy that he is, probably wanted to run, but shook his head and went on. There's so much to do. I want to be a better player. I want to continue to be a better player. I want to help young bass players. My mentors, Richard Lucas, Dan Hoskins, and Ronnie Allen, the three best bass players you've never heard. Those guys took an interest in me when I was a kid and couldn't play, and they made sure I had, Richard especially, made sure I had high-end basses to play, high-end amps to play through. When I was a broke teenager, I would like to do that for some younger players.
Sounds like a misnomer. High-end bass. Never mind.
But no, man, I just want to keep having fun. I get to play in a band with my best friends. We're having a blast. I just hope the van keeps running. And
are you just as good friends at the end of the tour as you are at the beginning of the tour?
Absolutely. It's we really have a good time.
Well, that's great. Well, let me ask you one more question, Paul. What would you be if you can imagine if you were not a bass player? And I mean something outside of music.
Outside of music, wow. I've worked in radio on and off for years, but that doesn't count because that's totally music.
Not necessarily.
I would like.
Could you have your own talk show?
I'd like to be a fly fishing guide. Fishhippie.com. That would be fun. I would like something outdoors.
Yeah.
Something outdoors would be fun for me. A fishing guide. That'd be a fun job.
I have a feeling whatever you would end up doing, you'd have fun doing it because you just strike me as that kind of guy.
If you don't have fun every day, you need to work on that.
Yeah. A good note to end on. Are you having fun today?
So,
You know what?
I'm on the right side of the ground, man. I'm having fun.
I'm having fun too. Having fun here at the 2016 Summer NAMM Show, Nashville, Tennessee, with Mr. Fungi here, Paul Priest. I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.